So I have 3 games that I would love to erase from my memory to be able to play them again. Rick, did you come up with 3? Bryce is thinking of 3 right now.
I'm
This is his thinking
right
phase.
I didn't really prepare, but I know 3 already.
You got your 3 already? James, what about you? Do you have 3 games that...
Yeah, I saw that earlier, so I've been thinking about it.
Awesome.
But my first thought with it, though, is games that I really like enough to play again, I always enjoy better the second time around.
Okay.
So I wouldn't necessarily... The list wasn't very long.
Okay. That's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. There's been and my 3 games are, quote, more modern games, but they're games that I was like, man, I didn't know games could do this, or I didn't know games could make me feel that way. Mm-hmm. And there's always that stupid argument of, our games art? Yes, they're fucking art. People work hard on it to put their own life and experience into it. So yes, it's art. It's all subjective. But there are objectively good games, and then there are games that I love that are objectively not very good. But story-wise or character-wise, there are things that, I would love to experience again for the first time. Rick, would you like to go first with one?
The first one, no particular order.
Okay.
Metal Gear, obvious.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1.
That made my top 6.
That game, when I first played it, just was so amazing. I stayed up so late playing that game, and even staying up late, I wasn't even near finishing the game.
Right.
But the story was so awesome. It was a movie. You were playing a movie.
That was one of the first games I played where I was like, man, I didn't know games could do this. But yeah, that's a good pull, man.
That's and it was hard. It was a little hard to think about, but I kind of knew Metal Gear. Voice acting in it, it was good, and the graphics looked awesome for that time.
For that time.
In
a vacuum, in a bubble, for that time. Do you want me to pass over you? James?
Well, no.
No, you have one?
Well, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do I have to pick a single game?
So I struggled with that too, because there's one particular franchise, but me being me, I figured out the game in that franchise I would like to play without knowing anything previously.
I struggled because I thought we had to pick, because I really liked the first Metal Gear, but I also was it the 4th one?
Where it brings everything together?
Yeah.
But
it was hard to choose.
But if you played 4 without ever playing 1, 2, or 3, none of that shit makes any sense. It's still really fucking cool. It's still really fucking cool.
I'll let you think about it some more. I'll give you one where I can pick a game. If you don't want to answer for me right now, I'll give you one where it's just the game.
No. If you want to do it, go for it. Yeah.
I'm still just gonna go with the one where I'm gonna play it out, and I feel like this should be on your list too, but I don't know if it is. Burnout Paradise.
Oh, okay. Burnout Paradise.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. That's not on my list, but I totally understand.
It's hard for me not like that. How do I not have that?
You played that demo so many times, not ever having played a Burnout game previous to that. Yeah.
And to experience that world again. Yep. I mean, because we said that so many times with the remaster when you and Ben and I were playing.
Yes.
And it's like, man, it feels brand new again, but to legitimately play this again, having never played it before. Yeah. That one I could say.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
James.
World of Warcraft for me.
That's a game that I think would be on a lot of people's list to be able to play, whether it's vanilla WoW or the original Lich King expansion without knowing anything about that. There's a lot of my friends got deep into that game, and I didn't see them for weeks and months because of that game. So that's rad. That's on your list.
Yeah, it was just the first time I experienced anything that massive, of a video game scale, and I just remember being just in awe for months.
Right. How do you feel about the graphically and mechanically what they've done to it since?
It's not the same, but it's still fun.
Okay. So you're are you one of those people that's like, yo, you need to throw up servers which is vanilla WoW so I could play through that again?
No, because I think people forget how crappy.
Yeah. It was. There's a lot of rose-colored glasses when it comes to old games.
Oh, yeah. But they're coming out with it.
Yeah, they are. They're totally doing it.
I'm not gonna play it, but
I've never played it, so I'm actually thinking about jumping in there. I've never played WoW.
Well, go for it.
Yeah.
That's hard. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a particular order. So my number 3 game is The Last of Us. Because
I didn't even think of that
running
one.
through that first 30 minutes, that opening sequence
Oh,
before
Jesus
the title
Christ.
card, all I knew was like the studio that I love is making a different kind of game. And
That
of
was hard.
course I'm going to support them and play this game. So Bryce and I both, we didn't really watch a lot of trailers. We didn't watch a lot of gameplay. We blindly pre-ordered and bought and started playing that game.
Yeah.
And I think about the same time that night, probably about 2 o'clock in the morning, after going to get it at midnight, I tried calling him and it was busy. And he was probably trying to call me, and it was busy. And then,
What world are we living in?
yeah,
All this
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But we talked about that opening sequence pre-title card for probably an hour and a half, as long as we played it.
Yeah.
Because that beginning is so, like, it's so atmospheric, and it does the thing we were talking about earlier, where there's a lot of suspense, and then the shit that happens at the very end of that opening sequence is just fucking, it's Naughty Dog did a lot of stuff early on with Uncharted 1 and 2 and even 3 that felt unearned with characters. And the death of Sully in the first Uncharted was completely unearned because you didn't even know him yet.
Mm-hmm.
So your character that you're playing as is reacting, but you're so disconnected from it because that hasn't been earned with you yet.
Mm.
And they found a way to do that again in the beginning of Last of Us, but have you care about it and have it mean something. And at the time that game came out, I think my daughter was like 5, so that hit me really hard, really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And then just
Before Michael, then, right?
yeah,
Yeah, before Michael.
and then the path that game goes on, all the way through to the very end with that look at each other where she knows he's full of shit and he knows that she knows he's full of shit, but they both just accept it. And I remember seeing a lot of controversy about the hospital sequence and you hear it from people who didn't have kids, like, oh, that was just too over the top. I was like, fuck you guys, you obviously don't have kids, because if my kid was ever in any kind of danger, I don't care if it would save humanity, you are not sacrificing my child to save what you perceive as humanity. And I would blast every motherfucker in that hospital building to protect my child. And yeah, it was one of those things where I know it got a lot of flack from people because of that sequence, and the people that didn't like it didn't have kids, or nieces or nephews, or younger siblings, or something that they could hold on to that was tangible, that they could see themselves in that situation. Mm-hmm. But as somebody who was a relatively new father, I fucking, without hesitation, shot that doctor in the fucking head. I didn't shoot the nurses that were in that building, in that room with him, but I didn't even like. Most of the time I'll do that, like, well, can I get away with not doing anything? Can I just kind of get away without having to be the asshole? But it wasn't even a question. It was, boom, pull the trigger, I'm out. I'm gone. And Bryce, we talked about that for so long until like 3:30 in the fucking morning about how powerful that opening to that game was. And then had subsequent conversations over the course of the next few weeks where we played through it of how that game made us feel.
Yeah.
And then, a company like Telltale, who's having major issues right now, put out Walking Dead, and we had almost that same feeling again at the end of that.
For sure.
But yeah, The Last of Us is definitely a game that I would love to just play that intro over again. If nothing else, just that opening hour.
It's a fucking
I don't want to
phenomenal
bawl my
game.
eyes out again. So I'll skip that.
That's not even the harshest stuff, man. There's
I know.
Like, woo! That game is good!
Yeah, it's a really good game.
What's a second game, Rick?
Back to me, huh?
No particular order.
No particular order, and actually just coming up with it on the spot.
Fucking Bryce style.
Yeah. How did you threw me through
For a
a loop with that because I forgot about last time.
Really? Okay.
Silent Hill 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Not play that I've already played though. Silent Hill 1, right?
Okay. Well, I mean,
Or not?
did you play Silent Hill 1 before you played 2?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm just meant, could I say in Silent Hill 2?
Yes. Oh, yeah, you totally can. And if you want to, yeah, because I think Silent Hill 2, I think the first 3 Silent Hill games stand on their own. They're
Yeah.
only sequels by the nature of the town they take place in. I really don't think those stories intertwine at all.
I do love 3 a lot.
Yeah, 3's real
But,
good, man.
with 3, I had fun just finding all the Easter eggs and
Yes.
all that. Like, because that was the fun part about it. Like,
Mhm.
the story was good, all that too. But the second one was really dark.
Yep.
And I wouldn't mind playing that one again. Because I've enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the gameplay, solving the puzzles and all that. And yeah, it was just really fucked
The
up and
earned
twisted.
scares, the ones
Yeah.
that are 100% earned.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Um,
That's a great pick, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say Silent Hill 2. And it was hard because I wanted to say 3, but 2
Yeah.
was the one.
What about you?
So you're saying I could pick like a... This is fucking hard, man.
You can pick a franchise if you want. I don't care.
Okay, you tell me. Okay.
Okay. Just tell us and
I'm
tell
gonna
you.
say something and you tell me if
Let-
you tell me if it's not allowed.
Okay.
I would love to relive most of the LucasArts graphic adventures. Do you want me to pick one?
Nope, you don't have to.
So
No.
like, if I had to get specific, like I would love to relive Monkey Island,
Uh-huh.
Monkey Island 2, and Monkey Island 3. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, Grim
Oh.
Fandango, Day
Fate
of the
Atlantis?
Tentacle, Maniac Mansion.
Fate of Atlantis almost made my list.
Okay, all those, because like I don't know what it was. Like for me, like I mean, I had Nintendo, obviously, but like I went through a phase where I got really excited about computer games.
Yeah.
And like that was the style of computer game I played. Those graphic adventures where you're like in this world and you're watching the story unfold. To do any of that again, I would fucking love to do. And like if I had gun to my head had to pick, I had to pick a franchise, I'd say Monkey Island 1 through 3.
Okay. I know how much you love those because when I finally played through Grim Fandango on PS4, we did that, or on PS3? PS3. We did that. No, it was 4 because we did SharePlay.
Mm-hmm.
It was PS4 and we did it with SharePlay and in a party chat, and like he was basically watching me experience the game for the first time, and I could hear and feel how excited he was to see that happen. So like, yeah, man, like you can use that whole LucasArts stuff as a thing if you want.
Yeah,
that's
'cause,
fine
like,
with me.
It's just like I remember like I was so like, cause so I have a half brother. He's older than me, but I can remember us going to like Main Place Mall in Santa Ana, and like I feel like, I don't know if we talked about this. Rick, I feel like doesn't remember, but like there was a video game store. It was called Babbage's, and I remember going to Babbage's, and I remember seeing the Monkey Island like box art for the first time, and just like, oh, this is like, it's like this pirate, like, I don't know. I used to look at the box art, I look at the back, and like, this looks cool, and I play it, and like I don't know if you've ever played that style of game before, but like there's humor, like it's puzzle solving, and what I've always said about graphic adventure games, like if you aren't into the world, if the world doesn't bring you in, you're not going to be into that game because you're not fucking randomly getting into a firefight with somebody. Like the gameplay is essentially you controlling the protagonist, right? In some cases the antagonist, like depending on the game, and venturing through this world and talking to people and trying to figure out how to get from A to B and get past all these roadblocks. And if the story isn't good, then the game isn't going to be good. But I can remember like just like sitting next to my brother playing Monkey Island. I'm like, this is so fucking cool. Like I'm trying it. I don't know. Look it up if you never heard of those games, but like they're amazing. And like playing Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, Maniac Mansion, which I actually, to be fair, played on Nintendo first. I think probably only played on Nintendo, but I played Day of the Tentacle, the sequel, on PC. Just too many memories, man. Like that was at the phase of my life where for me, I bought the game based off the cover art and the back art, and that's where I was. And luckily, most of the time, I hit the bullseye.
And if not, you forced yourself. Like
I forced myself.
You forced yourself to believe that it was the shit.
I remember buying fucking Karate Kid for NES.
Oh my god, that game was awful.
Yeah, but
you know what?
I convinced myself
that it was because it starts with the tournament.
Yeah.
How can it not be bad? But it's bad.
So fucking hard too. But like, oh god, yeah, I can remember. For me, at some point as a kid, going to the mall with my mom came into, can I get a Nintendo game? Because it wasn't a video. Can I get a Nintendo game? I was that age.
Yeah.
So I can't not put those in.
Oh,
It'd be hard for me. If I had to, I'd say Monkey Island 1, 2, 3.
I figured those would be there.
Yeah.
James.
Probably Bounty Hunter for GameCube.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a fucking good game. It's underrated. I think people will talk about it now very fondly, but I remember at the time it came out, it got shit on by a lot of people. But yeah, that's a good game, man. That's a good pull.
Yeah, I tried playing it recently and it wasn't the same. So I was like, I want to forget about it. So I'm gonna do it again.
Awesome. That's great. Experience this fresh like I was when I was a kid, right? Yeah. That's awesome.
What kind of game is it?
It's just a shoot 'em RPG kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Just a standard game. Nothing special about it. But you have a jetpack. You can fly. Yeah. I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I like jetpacks.
Jetpacks are great. Jetpacks, grappling hooks, like anything that gets you off the ground, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man with the webs, anything that gets you off the ground. It infinitely makes the game better.
I agree.
That's awesome. So yeah, just because like wanting to go back because you tried recently and like you'd be like, well, it's not hitting that nostalgia itch. Maybe if I didn't play it before, it would hit that itch.
Well, kind of. I mean, it was. I just remember really enjoying it too. I just really liked it, and it's the only Star Wars game I've ever liked.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Is it a Star Wars game?
Yeah.
Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
It was about Django.
Yeah. It wasn't Boba. It was Jango Fett.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a good game. I actually enjoyed that game. I think the GameCube era Star Wars games are harshly criticized because at that point everybody wanted another X-Wing or TIE Fighter, but I think those games on GameCube were pretty good. A lot of the Nintendo only Star Wars games are very good, going back even to N64.
Yeah.
Shadows of the
Shadows of the
Empire.
Empire. That was the one that I loved.
Do not even bring up Masters of Terrascasi because it's terrible.
There's no story in that. So
Was Shadows of the Empire the launch game? Like, that was a game that was on launch.
Yeah, that was the launch game for N64. That's a good pull, man. I didn't expect that to be brought up, but cool. All right, my number 2 is Uncharted 2. Now, I would like to experience Uncharted 2, not having known about Uncharted 1. Because I feel like I had a preconceived notion about the characters in the game, but going back and playing through the Uncharted collection recently, or before 4 came out, I started with 2 because that's my favorite game. I don't think it's the best of that PS3 era. I think 3 is a better video game, but the story of 2, to me, I would love to re-experience that.
Yeah.
Hating Chloe from the beginning, not liking what's his name, the British guy.
I don't remember what you're talking about though.
No, I don't remember his name, but there's that whole sequence at the beginning where Nolan North is doing his voice and then doing Drake's voice. Did you realize that when you first played the game that it was Nolan North doing the British voice and then doing the Drake voice with the shadow puppets? Okay, yeah. I remember seeing that and be like, man, there's nothing Nolan North can't fucking do. And then he went on to be in every video game known to man, which still makes me happy. But Uncharted 2, the way it ends, and and they tease you and make you think Elena died. And I remember being so pissed off because I love Elena. And I was sitting there and my wife watched me play through the whole game, and we both looked at each other and we both go, she better not be fucking dead. I'm gonna be so mad if she's dead. And then she's not, and it's like, oh, thank God. But yeah, I fucking love Uncharted 2. That story is so good.
I'm gonna spoil my list a little bit right now, and I will say that the Uncharted franchise is probably that's like the modern day, those were games that I was buying and literally popping into my system and playing all day.
Yeah.
And into the late night. I'm well, clear the schedule. This is what I'm fucking doing. It wasn't something that I played for, you know, I played like when I got it, and then a week later I played a little bit more. Played a little bit more. I fucking played those as I got them, and I played them till I beat them. So that's the closest. Like that's what made me feel like what I used to feel as a little kid playing games with my brother. Like, because I was younger, watching him play Zelda and like paging through like Nintendo Power and looking through the maps and trying to figure shit out. Like, Uncharted made me feel that again. It's not on my list, surprisingly.
That's fine.
But I want to talk about it because you brought it up.
Those games are so good, and I think story-wise, I really love the resolution to 3, and I love the resolution to 4, because I didn't think 4 was going to be any good without Amy Hennig, and I thought the late fucking 4 games in, let's introduce a character that nobody's ever heard of and nobody's ever talked about. I thought it was going to be super ham-fisted and not good, and it ends up being very, very good. But for whatever reason, the story of 2 is the one that really resonates with me the most. And I would love to go back and play that again. What's your third game, Rick?
This might be a little weird that I'm not saying like the games that you guys know me for. But BioShock.
Yeah, BioShock's a good game.
I had so much fun playing BioShock, and the story of it. Like I had like the whole aspect. I like the world of like that time, you know, or that weird alternative time.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of fun putting things, you know, making your weapons and stuff like that. And then with the big twist at the end, like that sealed the deal for me. Like that was just something like, what, you know.
A man chooses, a slave obeys. Yeah, that whole shit, man, is so good.
Yeah, like that's just I wanted to be in that world, you know. I wanted to go to
Rapture.
Yeah, Rapture.
Yeah, it's a good ass game. I remember the first time I played BioShock, I was like, man, this game is fucking good. And then I played a big chunk of it, and I saw the seams, and it really like pulled me out of it, and I didn't go back and play it again until like last year. And really enjoyed the story of it this time, and forgot about the seams of the gameplay. Because it's one of those games that really immerses you, and you forget that you're playing a video game.
Yeah.
But then when you immediately see the patterns that you're supposed to be doing, it completely like, oh yeah, shit.
I haven't played it. Well, I've played Infinite, but I just haven't passed it.
Yeah.
Cheesy. Have you played?
I played through most of Infinite. Have you played through BioShock?
I've played a little. I've watched more gameplay than I've played.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, it's a great game.
What's your...
So,
in no particular order.
Yeah, so I know when I go home tonight, or when I go home and I'm like going to sleep, all these games are gonna pop into my head that I'm just like, fuck, I could have said this and I could have said that, but you know, this is me. I didn't put in the same kind of thought into it as you did or do, and even now, before I say what this game is, I'm kind of struggling back and forth because I remember being this age and being like, I have to fucking buy the new system to play that one. And I remember being like, but I want to play it. Like, why do I have to, you know, because I'm at the age where I'm like, I don't fucking have money. I have to hope that Santa brings me the system, you know, or like, you know, and so it was just, I
hear
like,
that Armenian Santa is super generous though.
Yeah. So I can confirm. So like, I felt so like, I'm just like, there was this wall, you know, I'm just like, but I'm going to pick based off of like what I feel like I look back upon more fondly. And I remember it being a big deal in my neighborhood as a kid. Like, cause like I grew up in a neighborhood where like I knew all the neighbors and we were pretty tight knit, and we'd go play. We'd go play outside, and like, you know what I mean? Like I'd go over to someone's house and we'd play video games. Like I remember fucking playing the track and field on the power pad at my one friend's house. I remember playing Ninja Gaiden at my other friend's house, and like, it was a big deal when somebody had, and I might have been one of the first ones, had Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember playing with my neighbors, like switching off, like you die, okay, your turn, he dies, my turn. And I can remember playing late into the night.
Life or level. That's what I used to play with my friends.
Late in the night at 9 or 10 years old, it's like, it's 8:30. Okay, well, I guess I have to go home now. Like, you know, I can remember playing at my house, playing that game, and like, that's got to be on there for me. I'd love to be able to experience Super Mario Brothers 3.
Number 4 is.
All right.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I cannot put that on the list. Like I just have I
Yeah.
remember being so excited when I get to what I think is World 5 and it's the giant world. Everything's fucking big and I'm just like it just blew my mind. And I'm just like it was
Fucking Karibo
Oh.
shoe.
fuck man.
All right.
Yeah, that's got to be on there. I'm picking these off my heart, I guess. All these games are from my heart.
So that game was in the top 3 up until 9:45 this morning,
Shit.
and then got bumped.
Paladins.
I know. Paladins
My-
1, Paladins 2, Paladins 3.
My number one game I wish I could go back and play again without you just saw it if you looked.
I didn't
is-
look.
oh, you didn't
believe
look?
it or not. I saw what you wanted me to see
Yeah.
and I ignored everything else.
Awesome. It was the first game in this franchise that I played and made me go back and play the one before it and then the one after it and then blindly buy the fourth one and then hate that game, and that's Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is my
Wow,
number
yeah.
one game that I would love to go back and play again because I bought that on a whim
4 was trash.
because 4 was fucking garbage, right? Ugh! Homecoming is pretty good though, and Origins on PSP was pretty
I
decent.
didn't play those.
Downpour on PS3 was
I wanted to play
okay.
Downpour.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's all right. But Silent Hill 2, man, like I was at a store
Yeah.
and I had fucking money burning a hole in my pocket and I needed a new game because I'd rang everything I could out of the Tony Hawk games I owned. And at the time, like going back to 2000, like all the way up until like 2003, 2004, I was one of those dudes who really only played sports games or games like that. I didn't really get into narrative-based games, with the exception of like a Metal Gear or, you know, other stuff like that. But like racing games, sports games, wrestling games, that's really all I played. And then I saw the cover for Silent Hill 2 and I was like, this looks interesting. I like horror movies. I like horror stuff. This looks scary. I'm going to get this. And then
And you played that first before the first?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then our friend Francis, who we were talking about earlier before the show, ended up buying me the first game for PS1 that you could play on PS2 because he knew how much I liked 2. And he had played through 1. And he said, you're going to like this just as much as you like 2. He was right. I do. But it being Silent Hill 2 being the first one of that franchise I played, that's the one that sticks with me the most. And I really loved the aspect of both 1 and 2, but again, 2 being the one I played, of, and it was very rare at the time, and now everybody wants to complain about it when it happens, but a male protagonist chasing something that they've lost. And usually the paternal characters were not, it was always maternal. It was always a female after their child, or a female trying to save their husband, or, and like, you can go to Mario and be like, oh, is Mario trying to save the princess? But there was no dire circumstances in Mario. You didn't feel it. But Silent Hill 2 to me was the first game that really took that I played, that took that male perspective and showed that you can make a game like this from that perspective and have it mean something as much as it would mean if it was a female perspective. And then I went back and I played Silent Hill 1, and it's a father trying to find his daughter. And I was like, man, this is fucking amazing. And it really bummed me out in the movie when they flipped that, when they did the first movie. The first movie's very good. And it's something that I really enjoy because it, you know, it hits on that nostalgic bone for me of loving those games. But I really wish that they would have went with a male protagonist in the first movie. But yeah, Silent Hill 2 is the game I'd love to go back and play again, all over again for the first time.
Very cool.
It's such an amazing game.
James' turn?
Yep.
So the game I have in mind, it's not so much I want to play the game again as the experience that I had while playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Gears of War came out, not my kind of game at all, but my brother was hardcore into it, and we had a brother's weekend, and we kind of just played it non-stop until we beat it.
Split screen? Or did you guys have your
I
own
don't remember.
Xboxes? Because me and my brother did the same thing. We played it split screen. As that game had just come out. I didn't get an Xbox 360 till a year later. And that was the game that was
It
out.
must have been.
Yeah.
But
And
I just remember that's like one of the best brother moments I ever had.
Fuck yeah, it is, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Like, you want to talk about broing out for 8 hours? That's the game to do it,
Yeah.
man. It's so fucking fun.
Gears of War.
Yeah.
That was an Xbox exclusive, right?
Xbox 360. Yep.
Yeah, I never played that one.
Yeah, it's
I've seen gameplay, but
the first one's very. So I went back. I don't know if you have, but I went back and tried to play it solo.
Yeah, no,
No bueno.
Yeah.
No good. Real. In fact, it's actively bad alone. It is. It is
I'm not surprised.
bad alone.
I'm not surprised.
But yeah, man, that weekend we did the same thing. That weekend, my brother and I played that game together. It was like, holy this is amazing. And then like about a year later, I was like, I want to play through Gears of War again. And I just tried to play it by myself. And I was like, nope. I noped the fuck out of there real quick and put a different disc in the console. You have a very eclectic list, man. Like, that's pretty good shit.
We're gonna do honorables.
If you want to, yeah.
I got one. I
got
totally forgot
4.
about it.
I
Just
got
one.
4. It's gonna get bigger the more we sit
Okay.
here.
So, all right, real quick. My honorables are Metal Gear Solid and Mario Brothers 3. And those are the only two. Go ahead.
Well, you said.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Oh, Fear Effect. I had a lot of fun
Oh,
playing
yeah,
that
yeah,
game.
Fuck, I just thought of another one. Go ahead.
That was a game that me and my friend played all night. Like, same friend that we played Silent Hill 3 with to get all the bonuses and all that. We played this every weekend. You know, Friday night. I slept over his house, but really we were up all night playing the game. So
That's amazing.
There's a lot of good memories of that. Fear Effect.
Fatal Frame. That's another one I'm going to throw on there. The first Fatal Frame on PS2. That shit's so good. It's Japanese horror and a video game. What's not to
I wanted
like?
to play that, but I never
played
did.
it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think... Oh, no. They're only on PS3. So, see, I think they're on PS4 to buy as PS2 Classics. But I think they're only on PS3 to buy as PS2 Classics, which sucks. But you can play them that way. Bryce.
Okay.
Get off the internet and tell us your fucking
Alright.
inventions.
I got 5 now.
Holy shit.
Sorry.
Okay.
DuckTales.
Okay.
Fun.
Yeah.
I mean, just the music, the vibe. Like, it's hard not to.
Can we agree that the remaster is shit though?
Yeah, I was super pumped about it, but yeah, like I mean, it's not
Yeah.
that it's shit. It's just not like it's not. It didn't. I just prefer
what
the
you want.
original.
Okay.
Mega Man 2.
Oh yeah, 2's good.
Oh, I forgot about
This is gonna be a weird
Have you
one.
played 11 yet?
No.
Okay, go for it.
This is gonna be a weird one maybe because I'm wondering if you guys have even heard of this game. And for me, it's not even so much like I probably played because I was younger, and I probably only played the first couple levels of this game.
You
But
fucking
for
bring up Little Nemo fucking adventure again, I swear.
how'd you know?
Is it really?
Little Nemo the Dream Master. Have I talked about that before?
Well, one of
The
our
music.
one of our early episodes we did
Oh.
our favorite video game soundtracks or music, and that was like right at the top of
Yeah,
your
I don't
list.
know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but like just to experience that all again for the first time, it's up there. I'm surprised you called
Yeah.
that. Perfect Dark.
I see. I'm more of a GoldenEye guy than a Perfect Dark guy, but I get it. I totally get it.
I played GoldenEye too, but I remember my friend and I having so much fun playing
Yeah.
Capture the Flag in Perfect Dark.
Yeah, that's
It
good.
was god. And then this will be weird, but this is my experience. I was a Nintendo kid. I didn't grow up with a PlayStation system, so playing Resident Evil on the GameCube.
That's
that's
a
up there
good
for me.
version of that game.
That's up there for me because like that was fun, and that reminded me a lot of the adventure games I used to play because there's puzzles in that shit, and you have to figure stuff out. So yeah, if we sit here any longer, I'm gonna come up with more.
The only other one I can think of is Halo because I always talk about how important Halo is to me as a franchise.
Yeah.
James, do you have any honorable mentions?
Nah, not really.
No. Okay.